Hi everyone, welcome to Business Analyst Bootcamp. So the Business Analyst Bootcamp training will cover the following components. Every week we will provide a case study, a practical example of the simulates real-world business analysis scenario, some interview question using this case study, and a few quizzes to test your knowledge based on this case study. And finally, how you can showcase this case study in your resume. And also we'll show you how to update your LinkedIn profile using this case study. And we'll give you some user story sample based on this case study. Okay, let's dive in. So the scenario is a loan approval process improvement. Okay, so you are a business analyst working with a bank or financial institution that has identified issues its loan approval process. So the bank or the financial institution wants to streamline this process, reducing processing time. These are the expected outcome, and improve customer satisfaction. The goal is to improve overall efficiency and effectiveness of the loan approval system. Okay, so your task is map the current loan approval process and describe the existing process and identify key steps. So second step, identify the bottlenecks. So point out any inefficiencies, delays, or issues with the current process, and gather requirements. That's the third step. So define the type of requirements, not functional requirements, non-functional, or you would need to gather to improve the process. Okay, so fourth step is propose solution. Suggest possible solution to streamline the loan approval process. Finally, KPI for success. What key performance indicators, KPIs, would use to measure the success of new process? So I'll give a few minutes. You can stop the video. You can find out the answers, or you can work on these tasks, and you can come back to the video. Okay, so these are the expected solution, expected answer for this question. Let's map the current loan process. Okay, so these are very high level steps. The first step is customer submit application. So let's write submit the application. So this is the first step. Okay, all right, customer so that's the first step. And the second step is the bank or the financial institution verify the customer identity and check the credit. So let's write verifies customer identity and credit score. Okay, so that's the second step. And third step, so the loan officer review the application and documents. Loan officer reviews the application and documentation. Okay, so the next step would be The decision is made. Made is approve, or reject, or let's try deny. Okay. So now final step. So this is forwarded to the branch of finance department for this distribution. Okay, so funding the loan. Okay, so these are the very high level customer identify the current process. Okay, so let's go back to our second question, which is identify the bottlenecks. So we can list in this one long waiting times due to manual review. So once the customer submit this application, backup takes time, so there will be a waiting. So that's one bottlenecks. Delays in communication between departments. Okay, so there are multiple departments involved approving a loan, so there will be delay to communicate each other department. So that's one of the bottleneck. Lack of automation in credit score checking for document verification. So let's say this is a manual process to fetch the credit score. So here this step also taking time. So decision making time is inconsistent across loan offices. So let's say we have only 2 officers working and there are multiple applications coming. So there are some uncertainty, and also based on the knowledge this will be approved, right? So there is no common rule. So these are the bottlenecks we can identify so far. Okay, so now let's go back to our third step, which is gather requirements. So let's list all the functional requirements. So functional requirement, we are identifying automated credit score validation, okay, automated document processing, integration with the customer database. Okay, so non-functional requirement, system reliability, security, and data protection, and ease of use. Okay, so these are the non-functional requirements. So now what is the proposed solution? Implement an automated document verification system, right? And maybe we can use machine learning to pre-fill the loan application data, right? So creates centralized dashboard to streamline communication between departments, right? Standardized decision-making criteria for loan officers. So these are the proposed solutions. So how we can measure the success? Something like that. Reduction in loan approval time, right? Or obviously, if we automate this one, there will be efficiency will be increased. So the time will be saved and the loan approval system. Okay. So increase customer satisfaction. So we can measure this one by surveys. Reduction in the number of denied loans due to the incomplete documentation. Okay, and increase loan approval rate for eligible customers. Okay, so these are the expected outcome. By automating this one, we can measure all of this using our KPI. Okay, so this is how you can complete. If you can answer to this all question, you are absolutely good. Okay, so now let's go to the next step based on this case study as few mock interview questions. Okay, the first question is, how would you go about gathering requirements for improving the loan approval process? Okay, so the expected answer is first, let's say I'm the one answering this one. First, I would conduct stakeholder interviews, right? So we need to meet people who is working on this process, right? Maybe loan officers, customer service agents who take calls with the customer, IT department. So we can meet everyone, we can arrange a call, and we can study what is the current state. And also we can, if there is any documentation or if there is any video, we can learn, or if what is the current state, how this is happening, like which we are mapped out here, right? So that's the first step of gathering requirement, right? So let's go to the second question. What techniques would you use to identify the bottlenecks in a business process? So this is the expected answer. I would create a process map and highlight each step. Okay. Conduct time analysis to see which steps take the longest. Look for manual touch points where the automation could speed up things. Okay. So the next question is, how do you ensure that all stakeholders are very important, because stakeholders are aligned with the requirements? So this answer, I would prioritize requirement based on the business objectives and impacts, and I communicate between stakeholders, find a common ground, and ensure alignment with the business goals. And also one more thing, when you write the requirements, you can send out the document, or you can have a meeting and you can present, this is what we are planning to do. So get an agreement by showing your requirement. Okay. Next one, how do you ensure, let's say, the last question, KPIs, right? So what KPIs would you consider when measuring the success of a loan approval processing system? So KPI help measure the success of process improvements and ensure the project is aligned with the business objectives. Relevant KPIs included approval time and customer satisfaction, loan rejection rate, and the system uptime, right? So these are the things we are going to measure. All right. Okay. Now time for the quiz. Okay. So let me make little bigger this one so that you can clearly see this one. What is the first step in the process mapping, if you recall? Right? What is the first step in the identifying stakeholders, defining the scope, drawing the process flow, or analyzing the data? The first step is defining the scope, right? So we understand the case study. Before we do anything, we need to define the scope. Okay. So next question is, which tool would a business analyst use to map process? There are many tools, but based on these answers, what is the best tool you can use it? So this case, we can go with answer Microsoft Visio. Okay. So in Agile methodology, who is primarily responsible for defining project requirements? A Scrum Master, Business Analyst, Product Owner, Project Manager. So the right answer is the Product Owner or the Business Analyst. So mainly the first answer I would prefer the Product Owner. Some case there is no Product Owner, so the answer would be Business Analyst. But if the Product Owner and Business Analyst will be there, the Product Owner is the responsible for this one. Okay, so that's the answer. So now we'll go into some sample user stories. Okay. So what is a user story? User story is an instruction we write in a Jira or like some using a software instruction for the developer. Okay. So in the user story, we are primarily focusing on expected user role, who is doing what and when. So what is the goal and what's the reason? Okay, so in our case study, let's take a look a few samples I have put it here. So one is, as a loan officer, this is a user, I want to have automated document verification process. For what? So that I can process application more quickly, reduce the manual error. Okay, so this is one type of user story. Second one, as a customer, we are writing customer perspective. I want to receive update on my loan status via email so that I know when my application is approved or require additional information. Okay, so this is one more feature. As an IT manager, I want the loan approval system to integrate with the existing CRM system so that data is automatically populated, reducing the manual entry. Okay, so these are all nice to have features. Okay, so these are, we can come up with so many user stories based on this case study, but I have provided you a few samples. You can come up with other user story. Okay, now important part is, okay, let's reduce the size here. Okay, resume update. For resume, how you can update, how you can showcase this case study in your resume. Okay, so you can list it under this one project. Okay, so the responsibilities, what you have done. So you have conducted interviews with stakeholders to understand the current process and bottlenecks, right? Map the loan process using Microsoft Visio. So you have to you can mention the tool what you have used in this project. Analyze the data and process improvement, including the process automation, right? So you can you have measured through this KPI. So define KPIs to track improvements, including reducing approval time and increasing the customer satisfaction. Skills here: process mapping, requirement gathering, stakeholder management, problem solving. Tools: Microsoft Visio, Agile. And if you're writing user story, if you're using Jira or some other tools, you can mention that one as. Okay. So let's go to the final one. So how you can use this case study to update your LinkedIn profile. Okay. So LinkedIn summary. So you will be writing, as a business analyst, I specialize in process improvements, requirements, and gathering and data analysis. In my recent project, I worked on a streamline loan approval process at a major bank or financial institution, and resulting, what is the percentage with the approval time, right? And you can write, I'm fascinated about the solving complex business problem and enhancing the customer experience through the data-driven decision. Okay. Okay, so the next one, you can put a description also if you like. So description would be, let the analysis and importance of banking institution loan approval process, reducing the approval time 20%. Or whatever the percentage. Responsibilities include process mapping, stakeholder interviews, and proposing automation solution to enhance efficiency. Okay, so just to recap, so these are the things we covered from this case study. So the case study is the loan approval, improving the loan approval system. So we covered interview questions, we covered some few questions, and resume update, and the LinkedIn profile update, and few user story sample based on this case study. Okay, so thank you and have a great day. So we will see soon with a new case study.